can be kind of frustrating to feel like you are completely responsible for everything that's happening in your reality, because that's what we are believing, that's what we're taking on, right? With the law of attraction, it comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of weight. Go to a higher power for that, and don't make yourself feel like you have to sit in that alone or be alone in that. Okay, so I have a list in my phone of everything that I have manifested. So for this weekly vlog, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. I'm actually gonna take you guys along a week with me, but also really focusing in on living by the law of attraction. I have been into spirituality and the law of attraction and manifestation and all of that. This is gonna be like more of a vlog, me kind of walking you through some routines I do, or when I happen to pick up stuff that is related to the topic or what I'm learning. I wanna start off by telling you guys about the book that I've been reading recently. It is called Ask and It Is Given, and it is by Abraham Hicks. I'm gonna talk to you guys about a few of the little notes that I've made that I think are kind of important when living by the law of attraction, because there's so much information and so much to learn. I find it very interesting. I find it like a really interesting and empowering topic. So I'm gonna share with you guys all the things that I've manifested, like a list of a bunch of stuff. I also want to talk about what the emotional guidance scale is. I'll put it on the screen right here, but basically Abraham Hicks talks about the emotions and where they land in reference to like where a vibration is. That was like a really weird way of saying that. Like joy and faith or hope, gratitude, things like that are like higher vibrations, whereas low vibrations would be like shame or guilt or anger, things like that. Instead of trying to completely jump from like being angry to grateful on the scale, rather just do like one step and one level above. So for example, if you're feeling angry, it would be very hard to go from anger at 17 to joy at number 1, but it would be a little bit more attainable to go to anger at 17 to discouragement, and then from discouragement to blame, and then from blame to worry, and like work your way up to the higher vibrational feelings. Basically, she talks about always reaching for the best feeling thought. Another thing she talks about is focusing on what you want. Basically, the law of attraction has no idea that you're saying no to something and yes to something else. So basically, rather than focusing on all the things that you don't want, focus on the things that you do want. That way you are, first of all, making yourself feel happy in that moment, but also getting to bring that thing to you. Another thing I wanted to talk about is dreams, because she talks about in the book that dreams reveal what vibration / emotion you've been offering. So I've always been super fascinated by dreams. I still am, but I have never really understood what they are. Like if it's us living in another dimension, or if there's teachings in them, if they're from like literally nothing, if they're like warnings, like what are our dreams, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of our cultures believe different things regarding dreams. So it's super interesting to see that that stuff has been passed down. And anyways, she talks about dreams being a representation of what you've been offering. So for example, one night I had a bad dream and I woke up the next morning, and she had said in her book, rather than focusing on what had happened in the dream that went wrong or went right, focus on the emotions that you felt in the dream. So in that dream, for example, I felt scared, I felt powerless, I felt weak, and those emotions are what I've been practicing in my life the day before. So that's not to say that I'm going to manifest that situation in the dream, but it is to say that that is a warning for me to be aware of the fact that I've been practicing those vibrations or those emotions in my day, which is why it's coming into my night. So for example, if today I'm living my life super grateful and joyful and peaceful and going with the flow and feeling ease and a state of allowing and all of that stuff, and then I go to sleep, I'm most likely going to have a dream that is matching that energy and that frequency. But if today, all day, I'm practicing anxiety and fear and depression and anger, I will feel those things in my dream as well. So our dreams are a really good way to not be scared that we're manifesting the things that are going to happen in our dream, but that we can be aware that those are the things we have been feeling in our day, whether we realized it or not. I think that's really interesting. So I've actually kept a dream journal beside my bed now. So I'll wake up in the morning and sometimes I'll write down what my dreams are, but most of the time I'll just write down like the 3 top emotions that I felt in my dream. That way I can get a gist of how I was feeling in the dream, and I can become aware of those emotions that I've been practicing in my day. those are the things I wanted to mention right now. I'm going to talk a lot about other stuff in this video as well. I'm going to talk about growing up with 2 different religions and faith and all of this other stuff that I have on my mind, and being in a state of allowing and how to allow your manifestations to come into you, and gratitude, and like all of this stuff. So if you're interested, definitely stay along. Please subscribe if you're new here, and if you aren't new, hey girl! Yeah, I'm gonna get back into my work day now. Okay, so I have a list in my phone of everything that I have manifested. Okay, well maybe not everything, but some of the main things that stick out to me that I have manifested, and I'm just gonna go into like story times for all this stuff. I used to visualize being a YouTuber all the time when I was growing up. Like when I was like 12, 13, I used to visualize it all the time, as well as I remember when I was growing up, like when I was 12, honestly from like 8 to like 18, my living situation and like home life was kind of complicated, and I felt very alone and honestly just like unhappy in a lot of times. My way of dealing with it was daydreaming, and looking back at it now and like going into therapy, I know that that was not necessarily like the fully healthy way to deal with it, because it was kind of like me disassociating, but it was the way that I dealt with it at the time. And honestly, I know it wasn't like necessarily healthy, but like I love that. Like I love that that was my way of dealing with it and coping with it, because it literally ended up being exactly as my life is now. Like I used to do this thing where I would pretend that as I went to my bedroom door, I would unlock it and it would be like the door to my own place. And I would imagine that as I opened the door, there would be a dog there, and that I would be in this beautiful place. And I would like lay in bed and like imagine that I was like petting my dog. I wanted a dog so badly growing up. And I would like visualize all of these different things. And that's literally my reality right now. That is my experience that I have. I've just been like doing that before I even knew this was a thing. I've kind of been like manifesting, I guess you could say, before it was known that I was manifesting. I just thought I don't know, I just liked how it felt. I liked how it felt to imagine all that stuff happening, and it felt good and it felt right, like I was just saying before. And so I did it, and now it's here. The next thing I'm going to talk about is my dog. First of all, growing up, I always had a small dog in mind. I wanted a golden retriever, but I also wanted a small dog, and I used to play like Nintendo Pets or Nintendo Pets, however you say it. And I used to have like this small beige dog that I named Star. As I got older, I realized that I really just like wanted a dog, and that I was like getting closer to being able to have one. And the year before I got my dog, I actually went on to Excel and I literally budgeted out everything I would need for a year of his life. So I knew how much I would need to have saved so that I could be able to afford every single little thing, as well as I also started listening to a ton of podcasts on having a puppy. I was watching training videos on dogs and feeding videos on dogs and tips, and like just like fully acting as if I was about to get my dog tomorrow and learning about all that stuff. And I wasn't doing it as a form of manifestation. I only recently thought about it and was like, oh, I was acting it as if it was happening. And I like wanted it so bad, but I also knew that I wanted to spend at least like 2 to 3 weeks at home with my dog before I would just go back to work. Like I wanted to have some like grace period for me and the dog to bond and the dog to get comfortable and everything. So fast forward, COVID hit. And so once COVID hit, I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna get a dog. At first I wanted to rescue a dog. So I was originally going to rescue this little puppy. It was coming from St. Lucia. It was really cute, but it was gonna be like a bigger dog. I think he was gonna be like 40 pounds. The lady for the foster place came and saw my house, met me, made sure everything was good. I was like approved to have the dog. And then the foster lady said that she needed to text my landlord who lived upstairs just to make sure he was aware I was getting a dog. So she did that. And he said to her that the dog had to be proven hypoallergenic, which it was like a mutt. Like we couldn't prove that that puppy was anything. Like I would have had to get blood work done and it wouldn't have been. It was like a street dog. So I was completely distraught. Like that literally broke my heart because I was so excited to get that dog. And I remember the foster lady, like she even said to me, she's like, the only reason he's doing that is because he's trying to deter you from getting it, and he knows that a hypoallergenic dog is more expensive. She was like, go and find a hypoallergenic dog and get it regardless. Like that was crazy. I was literally so upset. I can't explain to you how upset I was. Like that was like a really bad day. But anyways, then fast forward, I come across Miko and I'm like, oh my God, Miko's so cute. Like, and I ended up getting him. He wasn't like a rescue. I ended up actually just having to like buy him. Like I think 2 years later, I go onto my vision board on my Pinterest and I click on the vision board and I'm scrolling through and I realized in 2018, I saved this picture of this dog on my vision board. And That's literally so similar to what Miko looks like. He literally looked like that, especially as a puppy. He was a lot darker and his fur was a lot more like that. Whereas now he's more like straight and he's starting to like lighten up. But the face, the size, the color, everything, like the fact that that was on my vision board and that's what I ended up getting, and it wasn't what I was looking for when I was looking for a dog, and that's what I got. Like, next thing that I'm gonna mention is actually my ex. We obviously aren't together anymore, but I do still think that the way that that happened was really interesting. So I had written in my phone a list of qualities that I wanted in a man, and we met 2 weeks later, like on the dot. We met in person, happened to just like make eye contact from across the room 2 weeks later, and he was everything that I had written on the list at the time. Not everything that I necessarily need right now, but at the time what I had wanted. So that's just another crazy one. Another thing that I was thinking of recently was I went on a Disney cruise a few months ago, and the night before I found out we were gonna even start looking at this trip, I was thinking to myself like, oh, like I miss the warm weather, like I wish I was sitting on the beach somewhere, I wish it was somewhere warm. And then I just like put it on my mind and I didn't even think anything of it. Went to bed, I woke up the next morning and my dad calls me, he's like, hey, like we're thinking of booking a cruise, would you want to come? I'm like, yeah, I would want to come. Like, what? So I also just think that I've heard this multiple times, but when you don't put a lot of like restriction, or what's the word, resistance against something, like when you just are like, oh, that would be nice, and then you kind of forget about it, those are always the things that come fastest because you're not putting much like, oh, that can't happen, that's not gonna happen, why would that happen, this is like the reason it can't happen, and this is the reason it can't happen. Look at current situation. Like if you just wish for something and you kind of just forget about it, those are always the things that come first, which is easier said than done. Like it's hard to, I feel like, master being able to be like, I want this thing and I'm just gonna forget about it. Like for me, there's so many things that I want and I literally am so focused on them, which I do think is a good thing, but I'm sure that it also may put up resistance towards that thing because I'm so focused on it, you know what I mean? But yeah, those were a few things that I manifested. There's so many other stuff, but I won't go into all of it. Maybe I'll look at my Pinterest board, my vision boards that are older, and tell you guys if there's anything else. 2022, I had been manifesting meeting friends. Like that sounds pathetic, but I literally had been thinking about how I really wanted to meet some girls. Like I really wanted to meet more girlfriends because I was working from home. I just didn't have like much of a community. Like I had my close friends, but I wanted more friends, especially in like the spirituality community and like just people who were like-minded with me and who enjoyed talking about this sort of stuff. And I ended up meeting multiple people that are like-minded to me and literally my soulmates. Like I have no doubt in my mind that these people are meant to be in my experience. So, oh, I have a New York trip on here. I went to New York. There's like a picture of a girl looking at an art gallery. Oh my god, what art gallery is that? Was that the one I went to? I don't know, I can't tell because there's no name on it, but I went to a few art galleries. I went to the ROM by myself. That's not an art gallery, but you know what I mean? It's like a museum. And then I also went to the art gallery in London. But yeah, there's like a bunch of other stuff, but I'm gonna leave it there because I feel like those were the main things that I would mention to you guys right now. Hey guys, it's Saturday. I just got home from a little day downtown with my cousins. We went to 501 Gusto, which is like a restaurant, for lunch, and then we went to the St. Lawrence Market, and I want to give you guys a little haul of some of the stuff that I picked up while we were there, as well as some stuff that they bought me before that. So what they got me for my birthday gift was a little bit of pasta and carbonara sauce. I'm really excited to eat this. I'll probably eat that for dinner tomorrow night. And then I also got a few little pastries that they bought me. I'm excited to eat these. Then when we were at the St. Lawrence Market, first of all, I picked up these tiny little mangoes. They smell so good. I'm so excited to eat these. And my cousin was saying that apparently you like mush them up a bit and then you can actually like squeeze them and eat them through the top. I feel like the seed of these, if there's even a seed in them, I mean there has to be, right? It's a mango. But they smell really good. I'm excited to eat these because apparently they're like mangoes but like sweeter. In comparison, this is like one of the regular size mangoes that I have right now. This is the baby. Next thing I picked up is this block of cheese. It's the pepperoni with truffles, and it just looks really good. I feel like this will be really good on top of my pasta. Yeah. As well as, I was so tempted to try this. This is lavender Gouda. Let me show you guys this. Look at this. It's called lavender Gouda. It's literally purple, and it has like little pieces of lavender in it. It smells like cheese. I don't really smell
lavender. I feel like this would be really good on a charcuterie board with some honey and with some little fruits and some other cheese and some crackers. Next thing I got is this little box of baked goods. So I picked up a little lemon square because I love lemon squares. So I picked up one of those. This little sugar cookie because I love children's cookies. Like, I know this is like for a child, but I love them. The icing on these, delicious. A little Portuguese custard tart because these are my favorite. As well as I picked up one of these, what did she say it was called? Oh, I can't remember, but my cousin said that I should try these and now I can't remember what it's called. If you know the name of it, leave it in the comments. It looks really good. I'm excited to try it. So that's what I picked up at the store. I actually have a breathwork class at 7:30 or like a breathwork workshop. I am going to the place that I do my yoga sessions as well as my massages. I'm also really interested to see what it's like to do breathwork in a class environment because I've always just done it on my own. I've always just done it with some headphones in my own comfort of my home. I want to wash my face. I don't want to have mascara on because I know I most likely will cry. I always cry with breathwork. If you're curious about what breathwork is, it's basically just breathing in a rhythm or in a specific pattern, and it releases a lot of stress in your body, and it lowers your blood pressure, and it's like really good for you physically, but it also releases a lot of built up trauma. So there's like a big release that it comes with, and you just feel really good and light afterwards. But I do know that I'll probably be crying because one, I'm just an easy crier. I cry during my yoga classes sometimes. Just like at the end, I'll like tear up a bit, but I also just figure it with this situation, I most likely will as well. I don't want to be wearing mascara because I don't want to be like leaving looking like a raccoon. So I'm going to wash my face. I'm going to get into a really comfy outfit for this. I also need to grab a pillow and a blanket to bring to the class with me. And I want to take Miko for a WALK. Hi, baby. This whole video topic is basically on the law of attraction and on spiritual beliefs and like, I don't know, just a bunch of different beliefs that I feel like have now formed into like one kind of religion that isn't a religion. And I just constantly am like contemplating what is right, I guess you could say. I grew up with my mom's side being Muslim and my dad's side being Christian. So I was born into just being like, which is right? Like there's no definitive answer for me. So I think I naturally have like a big question mark when it comes to religion. And I actually really like that I've had that experience. It really helps you to be able to see just how similar they both are, as well as kind of like make a decision for yourself. Because when you're born into a family that has like one religion, you kind of have to pick that one, following like the status quo of what's been normal for the past however many years in my family, right? And I mean, there are a lot of people that convert within their own religions, even though their family is one, you know what I mean? So it's not like super rare, but I'm just saying like the fact that I was born into this experience is very interesting to me, and it definitely like resonates with me. I have done so much research on the main, most popular religions. Let me read to you the religions that I've like really researched and stuff have been Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, and that's basically it. I watched a video the other day and it was basically a girl talking about how the law of attraction is like of the devil. And I know this conversation is getting really dark and that's not why you clicked on this video. Law of attraction I feel like can be very inspiring for people, and it makes them feel like this excitement towards life and feel like they have control over their life again, and they're not just like doomed because of their circumstances. And that's definitely how I felt. I feel like spirituality and the law of attraction has like really empowered me. But I do also listen to those things, and her main point was that the law of attraction is really rooted in self and rooted in worshiping yourself and these like egoic qualities that we want to have. So like, for example, in your affirmations, saying things like I am hot, or I am wanted, or I am popular, or I am cool, or things like that, which can be a little from ego, but you can also do the same thing with affirmations and do it from a loving place where it's like, I am lovable, I am kind, I am serving God, I am X, Y, and Z, you know what I mean? And I definitely think that I have kind of blurred and made my own belief system in my head. Like, I don't really have a religion that I identify with more, and I think that I really resonate with a lot of the spirituality, but I also think that within all of that, I have a very, very, very strong faith in God and in my connection to God. And so I think that I kind of use that with that, if that makes sense. Like my form of manifestation. Sorry, my dog's eating a bone, so if you hear crunching, I apologize. I'm not about to stop him, so I apologize. I hope it's not bothering you. I do feel that I kind of use prayer as a form of manifestation. Like I'll pray to God, and I did notice that like before, like the past however long I've been practicing manifestation, I noticed that I felt like I couldn't say I want, because I've read multiple times that saying I want comes from a place of lack. And so it started making me feel like, oh my gosh, okay, I can't say I want, I can't show that I don't have something, I have to act as if it's already here, I have to do this, I have to do that. And it starts to develop like this anxiety around making sure you're always on top of creating your reality the way that you want it to be. And I think that was one of the main things that she talked about in this video, or not one of the main things, but it was one of her topics. And I just want to say, by the way, I don't agree that law of attraction is of the devil. I think it's definitely a perspective, because you can definitely use anything for bad. You know what I mean? You can use any belief system, any religion, any power for bad. I did take also a lot from her video, because it did point out a lot of things like she was talking about. For example, as I'm going back to the fact that it was causing a lot of like anxiety and feeling like you just have to constantly be like on top of it to create your own reality in a way that you want. But I think that's where God comes in, and I think that's where maybe you can be a little bit more comfortable in saying, you know what, like I want this thing, and I'm scared that I'm not doing X, Y, and Z to get this thing properly. I'm gonna give it to God. Like I'm gonna just give it to God. And I find so much peace in that, and I find so much like ease in being able to say, like I've had multiple conversations with God about not knowing what's right and not knowing what religion is right or what beliefs are right. So many questions, because you hear so much content and everybody's opinions, and that's really what it all is, right? Like it's all a personal experience. So I just wanted to say, in case you're one of those people who is also having the thoughts that I'm having and questioning your beliefs, or questioning what's wrong or right, or questioning like, you know, you're being shamed, or reading some piece of content and feeling like, oh my God, now I've messed up because of this, and this. Like if you have a belief in God, if you do believe in God, talk to him, tell him how you feel. Or sorry, I don't mean to say him or her, because I don't believe that it has a gender, but talk to literally the power that has created us all, and confess how you feel, and you'll find a lot of comfort in it, and you don't have to face that alone. And it's an entire journey. Like I asked God to give me insight on this entire thing, because I was really confused and feeling really frustrated that I didn't have the answer, because I just like to have the answers to everything. And I knew that it would come within my experience. I would get an answer somehow within my experience. And I overheard a lady talking about her like religion journey, I guess you could say, and how she's converted to multiple religions. And it made me realize that there is no right answer, and that you just learn as you go, and that where you are is good right now, and that you just do your best. And to me, the most important thing is that you're connecting with God, and that you're continuously going back to God and having faith in God. And so I just wanted to, yeah, make a little reminder to you. If you do believe in God, if you have that faith there, and you also practice spirituality and things, it can be kind of frustrating to feel like you are completely responsible for everything that's happening in your reality, because that's what we are believing, that's what we're taking on, right? With the law of attraction, it comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of weight, because not only the good but the bad is our doing. That's what we're saying, right? Technically, and that's hard to sit with. And so go to a higher power for that, and don't make yourself feel like you have to sit in that alone or be alone in that. You can confess how you feel, and he can comfort you, or it can comfort you, however you refer to God. But I just wanted to say that, because I feel like it is very necessary to hear, because I don't really hear people talk about it very often, and it's definitely a journey. It's such a personal experience. Like we can't say what is the right or wrong religion. We can't say any of that, because there's so many people in the world. There's so many religions, so many different beliefs. Who are we to say that anything is right or wrong? Like we can't prove any of it. So we kind of just have to have strong faith within our own, and learn and be open and have good intentions and be compassionate towards ourselves and others, and be respectful. At the end of the day, be respectful of everybody's beliefs, because if we could all just do that, then what would it matter that we all believed anything different? We would all just be living in peace, and we could all have different beliefs but also still feel so connected. And I just wanted to come on here and talk about that. Super random and super rambly, and I don't even know if it fits into this video, but I just felt called to say something on it. So your hair is in your face, my monkey. Did you show them your bone?
it's now Tuesday. I want to talk to you because I don't know, I feel so inspired and I feel really excited and I feel really in alignment with my goals and with what I want and with what I'm doing, and I feel really like grateful for the life that I'm living right this second. And even though I'm so excited for what's to come, I'm really grounded and happy about right now. And I was thinking about this topic, I've journaled about this topic in my phone before, of how you can be both grateful and grounded while also wanting more. And I kind of just want to read to you guys what I wrote because I feel like it might be able to give you a little bit of insight if you're one of those people who always feels like they're on to the next thing, which we are, and as human beings we're constantly expanding. Like that is literally what we are here to do, is to expand. And whether that means we expand in positive ways or negative ways, or you know, whether it's just even wanting like tons of money, like human beings are just wired to want more. And so I think really narrowing down what exactly it is that you want and trying to figure out, you know, like what do you truly want. I was watching a vlog, or I was one of Kennedy J's videos on YouTube, and she was talking about how with her friends she'll have them close their eyes and describe their perfect day, like literally from the moment they wake up, where are they, how big is the bed, what do the sheets look like, what are they smelling, what are they hearing, what's the location, are they with anyone, like what do they do next, and literally walk from beginning to the end of their day and really break down what they do. And you don't have to necessarily do this with your friends. It would be a really great practice, and I definitely want to start doing it with my friends. But even just journaling about it and writing it down, it gives you an insight to think about like, okay, what would my actual dream day be? Like, what do I truly want? Because so rarely do we actually think about it. We just think, I want to be rich, I want to be hot, I want to have a great husband, I want to have beautiful kids, I want to travel the world, and we keep it very vague. But if we can actually get into like the nitty-gritty of what we want, we'll realize that a lot of the things that we want in our future we actually have right now. So one of the examples she was giving was that in drinking her water, she has this idea that when she wakes up in the morning, the first thing she does is drink out of like this crystal glass vase. And she does that in her mornings right now. It may not be from like a crystal glass jar or whatever, but she drinks water as soon as she wakes up right now. And it's like little things like that you'll start to appreciate more if you can see that that's what you want in your biggest, wildest dreams, and you actually have access to them right now, as well as it gives you like this feeling of it really being there and it being true, because somewhere out there that does exist, like that is possible for you and it's all there for you. And being able to step into the emotions of what it'll feel like to have those things, it just feels immaculate, okay? It feels immaculate. My background on my phone lately has been this right here. It's like this girl right here, and she's sitting against like this glass window and she's journaling, and she just, I don't know, that picture just makes me so happy because I feel like lately that's been something I've been really visualizing a lot lately, and I don't know where it came from, but I just have this vision of me being in almost like a treehouse, but it's like a very fancy bougie treehouse, like a me version of a treehouse, but like in the middle of like the jungle or the forest, and it being like floor to ceiling windows, and like when I look outside all I see is just trees like all around me, and I'm like in the middle of the forest. And I have like such a clear vision of that, and I don't know like how long it's been in my head for, but it's like what I just picture and what I really feel for right now. And this picture I feel like is a little bit of it, like it's a glimpse of it, and it gives me that like reminder every single day when I see it on my phone of like, ooh, that's what's next for me, you know what I mean? Like that's what's on its way, and that's just, gotta love it. You gotta love it. But back to what I was saying, how to be grateful and also want more. So the main thing that I came back to is just romanticizing the little things. And I feel like that's a great way to romanticize the little things, is to acknowledge that a lot of the things that you want in your biggest, wildest dreams you have access to right now, and you already do right now. I've been sitting here for the past 10 minutes or so, and it's so nice. And I realized as I was sitting here that this kind of reminds me of something Abraham Hicks talks about in the book, and talks about basically being in a state of allowance. And I feel like that's exactly what this is. Like when you spend time in nature, that's what you're doing. Or in meditation, that's what you're doing. And It's so nice. It's so nice. So I've just been enjoying it, and I figured I would show you guys and let you kind of listen, because just close your eyes and listen to this. There's an owl somewhere. I can't see him, but I can hear him. And there's like wind chimes over here that keep going off. And the birds are singing. And the sun is like hot on me, but the weather isn't hot. It's kind of cool. And the breeze is cool, and it's like a perfect evening. I love it. I'm so happy right now. And my best friend Sam's on her way. It's Wednesday, so naturally we're having our Wednesday hangouts. If you are usually here on this channel, you'll know me and my best friend Sam always hang out on Wednesdays. I feel like Miko's really mastered the whole allowance thing. Like, this is just what he does all day. He just chills and looks around.